So I'm sure most people have seen the Ring Super Bowl ad, and if you haven't, this is the ad. Basically, Ring cameras are like, hey, if you lose your dog, we can help find your dog with the power of AI. And they show how Ring cameras will ping an entire neighborhood to find a missing dog, right? And pretty much everyone's immediate response to this was, oh, you're gonna use this on people, because what else would this be for? There is no chance that Ring, the camera company owned by Amazon, made this feature exclusively to find missing dogs. The whole we find missing dog things is just a cover to make this more socially acceptable, so when Ring does end up finding people using their cameras, people are less upset about it, because we already know that Ring uses their cameras to find people. In some cases, the police get a warrant to ask Ring for footage. In other instances, Ring just gives police footage without any kind of warrant at all. So when Ring makes a commercial saying we can find missing dogs, we all know they're really saying we can find people. And this whole thing with Ring using AI to find people only gets worse when you realize Ring partners with Flock cameras. Flock cameras are cameras that have been set up in a bunch of different cities and places to track everybody and what they're doing. There is literally a Flock database that logs people's activity. It is ridiculous. This kind of data collection should be illegal. I hate the fact that data brokers make billions of dollars selling our personal data. It is ridiculous. These companies can destroy any semblance of privacy by selling data you never really agreed to sell. And that's why I use today's video sponsor Aura to automatically remove my personal information from these data broker websites so I can sleep a little bit better at night. Now, there's a lot of services that offer this kind of service, but Aura gives you a lot more for the same price. On top of getting your data removed, you also get alerts if your information ends up on the dark web. You get real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 monitoring to keep your identity safe, a VPN, an antivirus, and a password manager. And I highly recommend a password manager. It allows you to make a randomly generated password for every website, so if you ever have a password leak, it's not a big deal. It's actually amazing. And with how often companies leak your data, your password's definitely out there. I highly recommend a randomly generated password, seriously. And if something does go wrong, Aura has a US-based customer service that's available around the clock. And Aura also includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. So what are you waiting for? Try Aura for free today using my link in the description down below, aura.com/spatnz. And in those 2 weeks, Aura will get to work scrubbing all your personal data off these data broker websites. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and neither should you. But thank you, Aura, for sponsoring the video, and let's get back into it. So in October of 2025, Ring announced a new product line. And within this new product line, they also announced the Flock camera partnership, which means Ring and Flock will share data, which means they have better tracking capabilities. That's all this is. Because Flock, the camera company, is genuinely just kinda evil. These cameras are everywhere, and they literally track your movement, they track your license plate, they track people's faces. It's really bad. Now, Flock does claim they only track license plates, which I still have a massive problem with, but it's been leaked that they do track people's movements and faces. Like, if you are on screen in a Flock camera, it will highlight you because it notices a person walking. If the camera wasn't meant to track people, it wouldn't do this at all. You hit the specifically programmed software to track people and faces and things like that. You can't just have it do it. So obviously, Flock is lying, and they're definitely tracking people with this thing. And the worst part about Flock is a lot of these cameras were installed illegally. Because surprise, surprise, a lot of cities and states didn't want surveillance cameras everywhere in their city. But Flock did not want to take this, so they installed a lot of these cameras illegally. They just put them up and were like, yeah, these cameras exist now. And of course, police officers love these cameras existing because they can't do their jobs without them. You see, the police are incompetent. They can't do anything without technology assisting them. So police don't care that these cameras were installed illegally. They just want to be able to find people. That's it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have security cameras in places. I think that's probably important depending where you are. But I don't think those cameras should by default track literally everyone and everything happening. Security cameras are great if something does happen and you want to look at the footage to see what happened. But if nothing is happening, why is this camera tracking everything everyone does and logging it in a database? And no one is a fan of these cameras. Like, no one likes these cameras. There's a reason they had to install them illegally, and even in places where they were legally allowed to be installed, there's been a lot of protests to get them removed, and a lot of them have gotten removed. Like, Denver got rid of their Flock contract because people protested to get rid of these cameras because they are incredibly invasive. There is no reason we should have cameras watching literally everything we do, especially when, as we've seen, the claim that they only track license plates is just not true. They clearly track people. And one of the biggest problems with Flock cameras is their security, or lack thereof. Because the only reason we know that Flock cameras are not just tracking license plates and are recording literally everything is because their security is horrible It's genuinely hilarious. The security company has some of the worst security I've ever seen in my life. Basically, if you have some technical know-how, you can just get into the dashboard of Flock, like the actual Flock dashboard, and see everything these cameras track at all time. It is actually insane how incompetent the security company is at security. The cameras themselves are also extremely susceptible to being hacked. Like, you can just go up to them and hack into them. It's really ridiculous. But I already don't like that police can access this database whenever they want to find people. The last thing I want is random people using this to find people they want to find. And leaving it open like this allows people to do that. It is actually insane. You can just find the portal yourself and log in. Like, it's not like some super secure thing. It's literally just out there and they let you find it. It is insane. So knowing how terrible Flock security is and the fact that Ring has partnered with them, I don't want either of these companies to be able to do this at all. I don't think any of these companies have demonstrated any kind of responsible action in finding people or finding missing pets. Like, they just shouldn't be allowed to do this, especially since Flock installed a lot of their cameras illegally. Like, cities who got these cameras installed legally ended up regretting that decision, but cities who initially refused had them installed anyway. Like, that is ridiculous. There's no punishment to this company. That is insane. And of course, the least surprising thing about all this is the fact that Ring cameras and Flock are working with ICE and like law enforcement, because of course they are. If they're working with police, they're working with ICE because they're basically the same thing. Cops will act like they're not like ICE agents, but they're really just the same thing. It's just ICE agents have 20 less IQ points. That's pretty much it. Like, the type of person who becomes a cop and the type of person who becomes an ICE agent are one and the same. But Ring cameras and Flock are known to just hand over footage without any kind of search warrant at all. They just cooperate with the police because why not? They're companies. They don't have a soul. They don't care. So if you have Flock cameras in your city, I highly recommend talking to your city's mayor and tell them that this stuff is unacceptable. Depending where you are, they might be responsive to it. I don't necessarily know, but it is better than doing nothing. And I guarantee you a lot of these people are not used to any kind of pushback on a lot of the things they do. I'm sure getting a flood of emails surprised that people are upset about these Flock cameras would be alarming to these people. And if there is a Flock camera protest in your city, I recommend showing up. It's a good way to get rid of them. Like, it worked for Denver. It got rid of the Flock cameras. So if you want to try that, I recommend it. And if you have a Ring camera and want to get rid of it, there are local solutions that run on your own internet so people cannot access it. Because at the end of the day, having a doorbell that will be used against you or your neighbors kind of sucks. And also, the Flock company should not be allowed to exist. They have demonstrated they shouldn't be allowed to exist at all. They have no security. They install most of their cameras illegally. They are a walking violation. If you want to check and see where these cameras are around you, because they probably are, go to deflock.org. You can see a big map of all of the cameras that are recorded and people know where they are. This is not like Flock's official map. This is people reporting Flock cameras and where they are. And also, huge shout out to Ben Jordan for making an extensive video going over the Flock camera security and how terrible it is. I will link that down below. It goes into way more depth on how terrible these cameras truly are, because it is actually insane how terrible they are. The security company can't do security, guys. Like, it's so bad, it's almost like they did it on purpose so people would find it, because it's genuinely terrible. It's insane. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. Click on to check out more of my content, and have a good one.